everybody. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Will.
And this is So I'm Watching Andor, Season 2, Episode 11, Who Else Knows?
Second to last one.
It was really good.
Almost done. It was so good.
Yeah. Maybe, even maybe not as much happened as in Episode 10, but...
No.
Yeah. It was really just, the immediate aftermath of Episode 10. So Clea is in the safe house. She is digging into the wall to get some comms equipment.
Yep.
I'm wondering why it was hidden so seriously inside the wall.
Well, it was hidden in the wall, and then there was wiring that she took from another place, and there was another place. It was very spread out in the
apartment.
And that unit that she put on the wall was kind of the main thing that probably couldn't be deconstructed anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of the other pieces that she plugged into it to make it perform its function, so that even if someone found one part, they'd have to find all of them and make it all work themselves or whatever. It's as careful as you can be.
Yeah. So she is doing that, and she sends out what seems to be a distress signal. And Willman, okay, what is her name?
Drina.
Okay. Does she not know what's going on? Does she not know what she's involved in?
Probably not as much.
Really?
Yeah.
Because she was like, Willman, what is this? It was under the bed. It started beeping. And I was like, you are very clearly in a rebellion base camp.
The Luthen stuff is very specific. She came to this part of the rebellion where it was already kind of built.
Sure.
And we kind of learned, we've kind of
felt
it.
I feel Luthen is irrelevant to her being confused about that there might be comms devices somewhere.
Yeah, but why does Willman have it?
Because he's important in this rebellion.
He was important to Andor, coming to the rebellion.
I guess. I don't know. I just was like, girl, you were literally in the French Resistance. Are we not? What's not clicking?
Yeah.
So anyway, he obviously sees what that is. He takes it to Cassian immediately, where he is burrowing it up with Melshi and the K2 unit. Yeah. And they're playing poker, essentially.
Playing poker dominoes, kind of.
And K2SO is
they're really hitting the rev nog pretty hard.
It's really, really funny. But he's like, we've played 860 games and he's never bet like this. It's unbelievable. It's impossible. And they just are sort of you're still a robot, dude.
They're just having a nice time.
Yeah. And so Cassian, as soon as he sees the thing, is immediately we have to go. And Willman's like, what if it's a trap? And Cassian says, well, then it's a trap. We still have to go.
It's not really immediate. He's apprehensive at first.
Well, sure, but then it starts pretty quick.
Well, she starts sending the signal again. It starts beeping again. And he's like, now we're moving.
Yeah.
Go get the ship. Put the ship in, on the test manifest or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that we can basically steal a ship again. They're really taking advantage of this poor, this EXO that's running the fleet.
He's labeled as a general now, so he also is currently outranking Cassian. And Cassian's
I'm sure he's always
constantly I'm going to take this ship.
Yeah.
Be right back.
Yeah. We're going to go test this ship at Coruscant.
Yeah, right. And so they go there, and then I'm going to go back to the beginning. They get to Coruscant, and then I'm going to go back to the beginning of the episode.
Sure.
Because Dedra is fully under arrest.
Yep.
She's in a pretty scary interrogation room.
Yeah. And the same one I think that they had Cyril in.
Oh, you think? Yeah, at least a similar one.
Yeah. But it's in the same
area.
Place.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm in the same building, not even just it's the same building.
I mean, that's probably the building they do that in.
I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah. So, Krennic comes in and is very scary.
Yeah, it was such an awesome fucking shot of, it was she's in the center.
Yeah.
There's just enough headroom that when he walks in behind her, you never see his eyes, but you can see his mouth.
Yeah.
Berating her the whole time from behind, and he's doing hand stuff.
And he
fucking awesome.
Sticks his finger on her head like that. I mean, it's literally terrifying.
It's so fucking good though. It was such a good scene.
She is trying to defend herself, where she's like, sure, I should have reported that. It was a mistake to not report that.
Yeah, I guess she had some files sent to her kind of, on accident.
Yeah.
She might have poked someone for it, and then they came, but they were, someone saw it or whatever.
Yeah, he also...
They were traced, that's what it was.
Accuses her of having given Lonnie her, passcode,
mm-hmm.
and she's very confused by it. She's like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not. And,
of course.
Yeah, and then, well, I mean, she didn't. Though, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he accuses her of having given Lonnie her passcode, and she's like, no, absolutely not. Oh, and then he calls her a scavenger. And she's like, yeah, I had to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was not given any of the information I was supposed to be given when it was supposed to be given to me. I had to go looking for stuff.
Yeah.
And also,
you took access from me when I got Gorman.
Yeah.
And that was still like a key part of this whole thing.
And she's like, I found him too. And she's like, it was definitely me. But what's very interesting is they have not told her that he's dead yet.
Mm-hmm.
So she does not know that he's dead. She just still is very like, we have to question him. And like, he knows everything, obviously. And then as he's leaving, she says something about, oh no, that's later when she talks to Geert. So then she's actually in a cell.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes down there to ask her for like advice.
Geert does.
Yeah, which I was like, that seems wild. Yeah. You're the one that had her arrested, man. Yeah. And so she basically is like, the only thing that we really know that hasn't been like fully investigated is these short pulse like communications. Pulse codes for communication. And so that's when they go back to Luthen's shop. And I love this Imperial forensic lady.
I love like an instantaneous scene stealer.
Oh my God, totally.
She was like the best. And I wish I could think of an example of a character like this, but you've seen them before where even in, I think probably in Star Wars, where you meet this person that's probably not going to be around in the series. Yeah, Force Healer was great, but like even this one that's like overexcited about like a thing when like in the wrong tone for the room. She like did not read the room. She's like just psyched about how cool it is, how they set up their.
She's like, wow, this is actually really genius. They like tied into a feed from next door.
Yeah, but she's like,
and she looks up at the one guy and he's just like,
it's ingenious. They spliced it into a metro tower next door. They've been using Imperial broadcast power for who knows how long.
Yeah.
It's not the moment to be super excited about the ingenuity of this rebel force. So her idea is to basically unhook the whole thing and take it back to headquarters so that they can like power it up. But here just like, I don't have time for that. And just as they're about to like actually give in and do that, it starts beeping again.
Yeah, because, just one little pulse. That's kind of it.
Yeah, because Clea, it's sort of like Morse code. She's doing it in a very specific order. Because Clea is just like periodically sending it out again.
It's not it differs from Morse code because Morse is a specific thing, and they specifically say that because when Cassian is saying something to K2 about it, or like not responding as K2 is asking questions about it, really, he says like, "Oh, it's a code you guys have memorized that is like secret just to you guys." So like the Empire, here they never would have been able to like decode that and
to figure out what they were saying. Yeah,
but they are able then to start tracing the signal.
Right. I am not a fan of them having that technology. I feel like it's cheating. That's what I think. In the meantime, too, they've locked down the entire hospital to the point that the like head doctor of the hospital is pitching a fit, and here is like, well, I'm going to arrest you because you're clearly like meddling in this investigation. And he's like, okay, fine, keep it closed. Just feels, I mean,
there's only so much you can do. Like,
obviously
they're a fight, but
yeah, I know it's like obviously they're evil. They're the Empire. They're the bad guys. But like, I guess because they are so close, because Krennic was like, we're days away from the death. They did also finally say Death Star. So he's like, we're days away. So I guess at this point, they literally don't care how they come across anymore. But I'm like, it's just a bad look to close the hospital on a very populous planet. Whatever. I'm trying to think of this in terms of optics. Like, if you're going to be evil, you still have to have good optics so the sheep don't realize you're doing something bad.
Exactly. Or maybe they'll rebel against you.
Or maybe they'll rebel against you. Exactly. So
I did want to say, sorry, you just mentioned, we didn't mention that Krennic did goad Dedra in the interview to say the words Death Star. And I really liked that they like made no like pomp and circumstance about that.
Sure.
They knew that the viewer would be like, they'll know.
Got it.
Yeah. And
it's not like there wasn't like a
dun, dun.
And you know what we're doing with the dramatic pause.
Yeah, no.
Death Star.
Nope, they
bong, bong.
they rode the scene like with no music, just like atmospheric bleeps and bloops and the sound of event or whatever. And she just says it. They don't cut. They don't like do like a close up on her mouth or anything like that. They just
or a close up of him reacting or anything.
Yeah.
Like it's just very. Everyone in the room has heard the words before, and it's just a matter of like them easily delivering that information to us.
Yeah,
which I appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
So Cassian and Melshi and the K2 unit, they are all there on Coruscant, and they're going to the safe house apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And the K2 unit gets left on the plane. He's like meant to keep he's like the getaway driver. Basically, He's meant to keep the engine running. And the two of them go up, and as they're about to get in the elevator, the Empire has taken down all but necessary comms, so they can't speak to each other, and they don't know what's going on. But the K2 unit, he can see the
shuttle lands with the SWAT team.
Yeah, right there.
The strike team. Whatever. SWAT team.
Wetworks.
Yeah.
And so they're up there, and Cassian's knocking on the door. He finally says, "It's me, Cassian," and Clea opens.
He specifically says, Luthen, it's me, Cassian.
And, so they're in there, but then K2SO is, like, going, and he just starts kind of, like, I love it when whoever just starts wasting Imperial people.
Yeah, sure.
Because he, like, gets the one that's guarding the bridge, and then he gets a couple on the ship, and then he starts, like, I think he goes in to, like, go upstairs to help as well.
I think that's probably where he's going. Yeah.
We cut before that, but, yeah, here's my only problem with the episode. I guess I understand that Clea doesn't like Cassian.
Mm-hmm.
I had forgotten that he, like, left. But what you were saying before, it's like he only left the part of the rebellion that Luthen was running. Mm-hmm. He's, like, more involved in the rebellion now than he ever has been.
Yeah.
So, because she just basically was like, oh, it would be you, obviously. And, did she actually say Luthen's dead?
Yeah.
She did, yeah.
I don't know that she said it on camera aloud, but Andor knows he's dead.
We know, yeah. So she was very like, oh, you're on Yavin. I know all about Yavin. And I know how they feel about Luthen. I like won't be safe there. And he's like, you absolutely will be safe there. Mm-hmm. So I don't really know what's going on with her all of it. Like all of a sudden I feel like this is the least practical she's ever been about anything. And so they're just arguing and she's just like spitting out the words, but in no real like coherent order.
Well, they don't really have like a coherent way to piece these words together.
Yeah,
they just like know that they're getting their Kyber from Jeddah. They know that they're getting something from Gorman specifically for this weapon.
Yeah,
the super weapon.
The thing for me is I'm like,
they know the word Galen Urso.
Yeah, the issue for me is I'm like, do you know where you could talk about this where you wouldn't have to be like squeezing all your brain power out right in this moment to try to get everything across is on the ship on the way out.
Yeah. Well, as of right now, she is the only one that has that information. So saying it to Andor now puts it in his head also.
No, of course.
And Melshi.
Yeah.
Because he's in the room also. They weren't like, go stand over there and plug your ears.
No, I'm not saying that she shouldn't be saying it, but she's acting like this right now is the singular only moment and that she is planning to stay here and not leave with them.
Right. But it could be their singular only moment if someone is coming to get them and one of them gets shot.
No, I'm
just saying, I'm fully with you on her being too resistant to going to Yavin.
Like really intractable about even like exiting the apartment and trying to move somewhere else.
I do think the right call is to tell him first, though.
Yeah, I mean, yes,
I
agree.
And the more people that are in the rebellion that have that information, the better.
Yeah. We did also, we didn't talk about the scene with Krennic, Partagaz, and Hirt in that like big meeting room because they were then looking at like the hologram of Clea and talking about like how to put the picture out of her and like get everything taken care of. It was
like,
so
like
funny.
Hirt was like, should I put this out? And Krennic was like,
murder? Is it sedition?
No.
Like,
so even first he was like, should I put this image out? And Krennic was like, you're going to put that image out as hard and as fast and as deep and as wet as you can make it.
You will put this image out as wide and deep and far as it takes until we find her. You'll search every comm and transit point
And we were like, what?
Why is this so sexual all of a
It was
sudden?
very weird. But then, he was like, what are the charges we're attaching to it? Like murder, sedition. And then
I loved that it was Partagaz. That was like, she's violently ill with something super contagious.
Yeah.
Like anybody's in danger that comes across her. And I was like, that's actually really smart.
It's smart because it doesn't put anything bad on them. It doesn't make them look as bad.
It's also not like criminal. Like it's not a criminal. Because a lot of people are probably willing to help a criminal.
Yeah.
But you're not willing to help a violently diseased woman, you know? So I liked that quite a lot. So basically the rest of the, I guess they're ISB. I don't think they weren't stormtroopers, like ISB. Yep. Is like on the way up and they know exactly where she is. And so they are
now they do.
Now they do.
That's how it ends.
Yeah.
And they try floor 26. That little thing doesn't get as close.
Just like
it's like once they got to that same apartment on the floor beneath, they were like, oh, it's right there.
Right there.
But it's not like, doesn't tell them exactly where.
It looks also like a little water diviner.
Kind of looks like a little Geiger counter too. Yeah. Both.
Like a little,
both those things.
A little Y. Yeah. So that is where we left off. Really good performances.
Really great episode.
I mean, Denise Goff
she's so good.
I mean, incredible. Even when she's in the cell and she hears boots coming down the hallway and she like stands up and adjusts her jacket and everything, and then she sees that it's only Hirt and she just like sits back down again.
Like,
I mean, incredible.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
I really loved the addition of K2. Like that's like such like a basic. I've
been wanting a droid.
Like, having a little bit of comic relief is nice, and he's great in Rogue One, so we already like love him as a character.
Like him. I do have to say, I am getting really scared. I don't think B2 is coming back.
We might not see B2 again.
He's just so sad on that planet.
I think he's going to be happy with his new people on that planet.
He was already with those people.
No, he's happy with them. He is getting used to them, and he's been there for a few years. He's gotten used to them, and he likes them now too.
Yeah, but how often do you think he still asks about Andor?
Cassian.
Ugh! It's like the Mars rover.
Oh yeah.
Ugh!
I was like, it's just getting dark.
Just rest me. My battery is low, and it's getting dark. It's friggin' horrific.
Yeah.
And it sang itself happy birthday. Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ. Okay. Great episode.
Yeah, very good episode.
Yep.
I almost wanted to just like blow through the next one too, because they are like clearly very
so
tied.
Right together. Yeah. But we'll go watch the last one right now, and then we'll record.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.